Alrighty guys, welcome back to another video. Now today's video is going to be a Spanion natty or not. Now Spanion has been posting some crazy thirst trap videos on his socials recently, and it seems to be throwing everyone in a spiral online. It's very unlike Spanion's material as well. Really love his content recently, but what he's been posting on his social media has really got a lot of people in frantic debate if he's doing alright, and
they can come closer than close, yeah.
He recently seems to be well into fitness and going to the gym and staying really active on his socials, which I can really respect as well. But what caught my eye is the fact that he seems to be at his peak in terms of his size and how lean he actually is. And it had me wondering, because I don't know a whole lot about Spanion, I wonder if Spanion claims natural. Because I had a look at him and I know for a fact that he is not a small dude. Spanion is 6'4", but we're gonna go through and analyze in this video a bit about Spanion's gym and fitness history and journey. We're gonna do a bit of an analysis on a natty or not on Spanion. But yeah, I was recently going through some of his TikTok posts, which I found pretty funny. He's been very glamorous recently and showing some thirst trappy sort of videos on his socials, which, you know, I can't hate the guy, whatever. I don't think much of it, but a lot of people going in his comments section coming at him a bit. This one he posted 5 days ago, just a bit of a physique update, whatever you might want to call it. But
lad, I don't really have rest days from training. I pretty much just train 7 days a week, a different body part every day, back to back. But in the afternoons, some afternoons, I try to do cold plunges and saunas. Cold plunge, sauna. I do like 5 minutes in the sauna, 30 seconds in the cold plunge. I can only last 30 seconds, lad. It's freezing.
Looking pretty insane, honestly. This physique looks attainable naturally, but what you'll find out is Spanion is not a short dude, and he is also not a light dude as well. So to be able to look at this at a heavy weight and being a super tall dude, it starts to sort of scream enhancements in my eyes. But we're gonna go through this later on in the video. A little bit too big for me to think that is just straight up natural. Some of these comments are pretty funny, like very interesting content as of late. When did Spanion start loving himself so much? I don't think there's much wrong with just posting a video of you saying that you're in the cold plunge. Someone said the test ananthate is strong in this one. Some guy said pretty zesty, lad. People have just been coming at this dude for no reason. So you guys all know Spanion. He's the king of the Adelays, a big Australian icon nowadays as well. A lot of people love him. I love watching his content. I haven't tried Spanion kebabs, but I've heard mixed things about it. So.
What happened? What happened, man? Was that? What? The kebabs are What happened? No, I said they were good, man. Oh, they're good.
He got like some fresh veneers as well, it looks like.
You think, a lot of people think, upset people, that I got half a teeth done, half a teeth by the way, and that it changed me. I'm changed. Next month, October 27th, I get my broken nose fixed. I've had a broken nose since I was 16. I got hit with a barbecue in Bondi. It's been broken since then. Wait till then. I just want to be the best that I can be. I won, cuz. I just want to be the best that I can be. Everything I missed out on by growing up in prison. I want to be the fittest I can be. I want to be the happiest I can be. And that's what I'm doing, cuz. You know what I mean? You think I'm rizzing now with half a teeth?
People just seem to be a little bit concerned about what Spanion's recent festivities have been. Obviously, Spanion, if you don't know already, he's spent over a decade in prison, completely turned his life around, is now sort of like a full-time YouTuber, content creator, completely diverted from a life of crime, which you gotta respect, man. The complete 180 turn in his life, not something a whole lot of people can do, like a life of drugs, crime, major trouble with the police.
Being in juvenile detention since 15 and a heroin addict by 16.
A life of crime's all I knew. One day in 2016, looked at myself, seen the truth, that's it, sacking it. That's crazy, it's unheard of where I come from. I don't know any other stories like that.
And is now a very big successful YouTuber and makes a lot of money off traveling and doing what he loves. And he's actually got kids as well and a wife. So respect to the dude. Not many people can turn their life around like the way he did. We're gonna dive into, so how tall is Spanion? Now, there is a really funny video on TikTok of this guy analyzing Spanion's height in the most iconic Australian way possible with something called Nautica bags, which are those, like, you know, satchels that you see a lot of lad eshays wear.
But Spanion, you can't find anything. So the only way we can actually measure Spanion's height is with Nautica bags. He's 8.5 Nautica bags tall, 23
I don't know how accurate this is, but to be honest, it's probably pretty accurate.
centimeters times 8.5 is 190 centimeters, 95.5 centimeters tall, okay? And this is just a guesstimate, so he could be anywhere from 190 to 195.5. And just by looking at him, in my professional opinion, I can definitely tell he's about 110 kilos. He's about 110 kilos. I'm not even going to say 110 to 120 or 100 to 110. He's 110.
So to put that in perspective in terms of Nautica bags, yeah, I think that puts him at around 6'3", 6'4", so not a small guy. And also, if you were to compare him in a lot of his vlogging videos to other people, he looks like a giant. He doesn't look like a light dude either. Now, obviously, Spanion has a crazy history amongst drugs, narcotics, and things like that. So, but thankfully enough, you don't have to go and find out if Spanion is natural or not, or have your suspicions, or build any controversy, because Spanion is open about his gear use.
I've been big naturally, right? Yeah. I've looked mad, I've been lean, I've been fit, I've been muscly, I've been everything in between. And I always thought, imagine me on steroids. I'll just be like you. And bro, and I had it, and I took like, started on Dynabols and test, like 500 mils a test, a bit of human growth hormones, and finished on Anavars and all the rubbish that I read in the forums. I took I was on 60s at once. Bro, I put all the weight on in my face. I become a balloon in my face, had a bloated gut. I was debatably stronger.
Now, I'm not saying that he says that he currently uses anything, but...
And then I came back, bro. Long story short, I'll get to the point. The Anavars were making me just yuck, lad, like angry and negative, and like really just a gronk, lad, negative and depressed. And like I stopped it 2 days ago. Yesterday it was still hanging around, but last night I become happy. Today I feel hectic. Like, bro, I lasted 3 days on it, whatever. Not gonna talk it down, bro. They do their job. They make people muscly. And at the end of the day, it's not like I'm here after a month of Psalms and I look like, oh, look at him, he's a machine. I look like the normal me. I look like this naturally, bro. We were on steroids for 3 days. Now we're training natural forevermore. If anything ever changes months down the line, I'll tell you it's that day.
Credit to Spanion for being open about his gear use. It's like a lot of fitness influencers and anyone in the fitness world. You know, nowadays we got people that just look laughable claiming natural nowadays and covering it up, but props to Spanion, man. But we're gonna dive into if Spanion is currently on anything or using anything with the physique that he's been posting online recently. So Spanion's 38 years old, right? Not, you know, the youngest guy where your test levels are gonna be at your peak. So to be able to have a physique like I'm about to show you. So this was close to 8 months ago, and he says he's 6'3.5", thankfully, and 125 kilos. Pretty ginormous dude for being 125 kilos and still having abs. That does not look like a natural physique to me. Now, interestingly enough, in the podcast with Lee Priest, Spanion claimed that throughout his 15 years in jail, he didn't take absolutely any enhancements, which I would probably think, how could you even take anything whilst you're in jail? And why would you as well? You wouldn't be able to get blood work done and be safe whatsoever about it.
Obviously, another benefit of growing up in jail is that I trained for 15 years with nothing. I didn't even have creatine, so I was well trained by the time I ever used steroids.
But he claims to have been completely natural through his 15 years of his prison sentence and not even taking creatine. So this one's a really young photo of him. You know, it looks like a very young Spanion in this, to be honest, but nothing here screams any sort of, he almost doesn't even look like he like gyms and that. Here's a really young photo of Spanion. Even there, doesn't scream anything crazy in terms of gear use to me. So I believe it, to be honest. I can believe that Spanion throughout his prison years was natural. Now, one thing I do want to highlight on, this is crazy. He has insane leg genetics, especially for a tall dude as well. You don't see that a whole lot. Not to be zesty or anything, but his calves are absolutely insane. I don't even know if he's like the type of dude to even train calves either.
If you don't train legs, your upper body will be bigger than if you trained legs, all right? If you train one body part less, the rest of your body, so you need to prioritize. Have you seen those blokes over in America? They train in the parks, all right? They train on the chin. Have you seen their upper bodies, lad? They're f***ing ripped, their lines here, bang, bang, bang. They don't train legs, they don't care. The only gonna judge your thighs is another man. It's always a man that says to you, you gotta train legs, bro. It's always a man that says that. When you meet a woman and you're boom, abs, big chest, big arms, when you go take off your pants, if the thing she's looking at is your legs, you're losing.
During his jail time years, nothing here screams to me that he's ever on any. Young Spanion looks so much different than what he does now. That looks like it's in jail as well. Pretty funny, he's just got pictures of girls behind him, a Spanish flag as well. Recently, how Spanion has been looking is pretty juiced up. Like, I would be pretty shocked to think that he's absolutely not on anything. That sort of screams to me, you're using something. That doesn't look too natural to me. Now, to have done quite heavy gear in the past, like Dianabol, Test, growth hormone, Anavar, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think that he's taking heavy compounds like that nowadays. He said he tried, a bunch of stuff when he got out of prison. He said it didn't really do much to his physique. It just puffed up his face a lot because he knows that there's a big science behind using substances. You might not like put on a crazy amount of size with, whatever amount of stuff you're taking. So now me, I've been training for 6-7 years now and never touched anything in my life. I'm not very knowledgeable about gear as a whole, what different compounds do and things like that. But I can look at a physique and give you a pretty educational outlook on whether something looks natural or enhanced. I think Spanion does have a quite natural look, but it's just the actual muscle mass that he's able to maintain just seems a little bit suspicious to me so currently. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if Spanion is on a little bit of Test. I wouldn't say he's on like any heavy compounds like Tren or anything like that, Anavar, things like that. I don't think he's taking that sort of stuff. A low dose of Test and maybe like, I don't know, D-Bol or something, like a small dose of D-Bol, or because I know D-Bol doesn't give you that freaky steroid look. It just makes you look really big and built. I don't really know much else about other compounds to give you a very insightful opinion about what probably actually is taking. But if I was to take a guess, I think he's on some Test and maybe a dabble of some other stuff as well. Never really seen him super lean. Like me, I'm 5'11", currently about 80 kilos. I've never got a DEXI scan. I don't really know what body fat I am, but if I was to take a guess, I would say I'm about 9%. If Spanion was to look the size that he did at 9% body fat, I'd probably be a bit more suspicious that he's on some heavier stuff. Yeah, overall, man, he's looking pretty good, well into his training. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think Spanion could potentially be running. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. If you're new to the channel, make sure you leave a like, subscribe. Also, if you want to cop any of my first ever merch drop, jump on the link in the description. If you want to support me, support the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.